Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Wendy. Wendy is waiting for me already. She says, I hope you're not sick of seeing my name. Definitely not. I would never get sick of seeing your name. I'm just amazed that you are actually still going. My name is Alisa Tilsner. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. And last night, my time, I actually went live with Pip Todman, who is from the UK, and we did some crafting together. And Wendy is in the US, and she got up at 4:30 in the morning. I know that she was getting up to go to work, but she was watching us as well, and she is still going. So I've had, a decent night's sleep, and it's just crazy to think that your day is still going, and I've got a brand new day. So it's fun seeing everybody from around the world. Okay, today we are continuing our look with the designer series paper called Delightful Floral. So if you are following me on my Facebook page, I did a quick, actually on YouTube as well, I did a quick product spotlight showing you the papers and the colors that go with it. And I think we did just a bit of a breakdown and having a good close-up look at each of the papers that are in the pack. And then I did a reel that's over on Instagram and Facebook, so you can check that out. I created a little graphic for you with all the breakdown. There are 9 colors in this paper pack, so there's a huge amount. And then today we're going live. So, and then tomorrow, the card that I make today will go out as a free PDF in my newsletter. So do make sure, I'm just going to bring that up. I'm just going to find the right spot. Bring up my blog address. So alisatilsner.com, you'll see the subscribe button. I will also go back. Actually, I think I've put it in the description already, but I will go back and edit the descriptions on both Facebook and YouTube. Head on over there. You can subscribe to my newsletter. And that way you'll get today's card as a written PDF tutorial that will go out in my tomorrow newsletter. So head on over there after, and I'll just hang on, whoops, oh man, I keep pressing all the wrong buttons. I'll get rid of that. Just remind me a couple of times to bring that up again. Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, I am going to switch the camera and we will get creating. So I'm not going to go through all the papers. You can go and check out my little product spotlight on that later. So if you want to see them all. But I do have a little selection of papers that I'm going to use today. So I really love the green. As much as it pains me to cut into it, I want the pool party side, and I'm going to use the Berry Burst. That's the other side of the Berry Burst. Very busy flowers. I'm not fussed about using that. And I'm going to use this side. That side is also gorgeous. I don't mind cutting into that. That's fine. You know how some sides you just like, oh man, I want to. Some sides of papers you're like, yeah, I'm not too fussed about that. That's fine. I keep my favorite side. But there's some like this one, and it's like, oh, I really like both of them. And then, of course, I've got the big flowers that I'm going to, actually, I've already cut one out. So, and fresh freesia is on the other side, so I'm not fussed about that one. Okay, I have not got anything cut, so I will be cutting as we go. And I thought I would do like I did last week and just do a little step-by-step. If you're a beginner and you want to stop here, if you want to go ahead and put a little bit more into it, and then we'll step it up again and do an advance. So we'll do that all in the one card before I actually start sticking anything down. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. We've got Margaret and Fiona and 2 Debs, 1 Deborah, 1 Deb. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so I thought to keep a nice light card, because we do have some, I'm going to be using some of the heavy colours. I'm going to use Berry Burst and Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to go for a light base just to keep the card on the lighter side. Now I've already cut out one of my large flowers from here, so I can pop that paper behind me. Now I won't give measurements as we're going, so do make sure that you are signed up for that newsletter, because all the measurements will come in there, because sometimes I change my measurements and I don't want to have to keep going back and going, oh, nope, sorry, I was wrong. I made a boo-boo. Because I always cut bigger to start with. If I'm unsure of what my layout is going to finish and look like, then I will, you know, I will cut on the bigger side and then trim down if I need to. Because if I start on the smaller side and go, oh, I really should have had that bigger, then I'm just chomping into more paper, aren't I? So I love that green. Absolutely love that green. Now what I should do is figure out this panel first, right? I am probably going to move fairly fast through all this cutting stage. I have a mud map in my head. I've actually taken it from a scrapbooking layout. So I often do that. I'll often go and take a scrapbooking layout, but just take a portion of that scrapbooking layout, and where they would have a photo, that's where I'll put my focal image. I just got to check which way, because I like both of these papers. I've just got to check which way I want to cut them so that I can get the most out of. Actually, maybe I'll cut it long ways, because I tend to do a lot more portrait style cards, and that way I can use these strips later on. Okay, get my layering happening. My flower will go on top like that. So I've got that. I know it's a bit squeezy, but while I'm cutting, it just has to sort of be that way. And I'm using loads and loads of designer series paper, so we have that as well. Okay, I think I will do all right. I think I've got enough. I know, Wendy. Pretty Peacock is gorgeous. Hello, Bernadette. First time watching from Michigan. Hello and welcome. I think I want a thinner. No, I'm going to cut it bigger. See, I just was going to cut it smaller, but I will cut it on the slightly bigger side first. And then taper it down if I need. I'm not so precious about it that I can't, you know, throw a few little scraps away. Heavens, I've got like 5 boxes of retired designer series paper that needs to be dealt with. Use it up. So, all right, so that's what my basic layout is going to be like. I think I'm finished trimming for the moment. Get rid of that, and I will get rid of that. So this is basically our first step. So if you are a beginner card maker, this might be what you're comfortable with at the moment. I'm not going to stick anything down because I am going to, you know, spruce it up a little bit more. Pop your sentiment across. I've still got to do that, but, you know, you pop your sentiment down. I would put it across here. I'm going to do a happy birthday one, and boom, there's your beginner card. We've used minimal cardstock, minimal paper. Well, yeah, minimal paper, and you know, you could be very happy with that. But if you've been watching me for a little bit, I do like to step things up and think, well, I've got my basic layout now. What more can I do to my card to step it up just a wee bit? So what I can do is push that into the middle a little bit more, and I'm going to, you guys are probably like me, you've got lots of little scraps going on like this. So what I like to do is actually use those scraps for my layering. Sure, you know, you could pop your layering, you could do, like I've layered this piece of designer series paper here, you could layer them all if you want. You could layer that onto a piece of berry burst if you wanted to, and then you could layer this one onto a little bit more, just so I can give you a rough idea. You could, you know, full layer though. So you could layer things like that and build your card out that way. But I like to just keep my scraps, and I'll just pull this one down a little bit. And then what I will actually do is pop that behind so that I've just got a little layer, a scrap layer, if you will, and I'll put that behind, and then I can bring my card out that way, and then I've just got a tiny little bit of dark on the edge there. So zhuzh it up, I'm going to zhuzh up my card. So that's what you could do next if you wanted, just like that. You could even pop another scrap down here and have it like that. You could do another slim layer, go all the way down. My piece isn't long enough, but you could do that, and that's a different sort of style of layering that you use up your little scrap pieces that we constantly get, and you know, you've added a little bit more to your card. So we're going to, you know, that's all well and good. Actually, I might actually do that because I quite like that, but I'm going to wait and see the next step of my card that I want to do. So in this sketch layout that I saw, that I broke down, it had circles in it as well, and the circles were really cool. So I thought, let's do some circles on there as well. Not full circles though, they were frame circles. So they were just rings. And I thought they would be cool just to pop down in the bottom. You know, you're not going to see much of them, so we only need to do one because we'll be able to use that ring on both sides. And again, it's just using up your scraps of card. That's probably not quite big enough, but it will just be using up scraps. I'm going to cut a sliver off just so that I can keep, in case I do want to come back, and I'll keep that length just in case I do want to come back and pop that one in. But I'm just going to, how big's my thing? So I'm going to run it through my machine. I'm going to go, normally I would just hack around my cardstock, but I'm going to do nice straight edges because you never know. I might use that piece somewhere else and it'll all be cut ready for me. Who else is joining us? Megan has joined in. Good morning. All right, so I'm going to cut these out and I'm going to nest them together. You know, I think I use this baby machine more than I use my big machine now. So I'm just going to nest these guys together and try and get my eyes to focus and make sure that they are evenly spaced. I don't know, who else's eyes just sometimes don't want to focus, please. So I probably only need one. Why waste half of it being hidden? So I'll just cut that in half. And then I've also got a circle I can use later on. So that was from the Stylish Shapes dies. Can't remember whether I told you that or not. So Stylish Shapes dies of the circles. You can do squares if you want, but I thought the circles were nice. All right, so I'll just snip these guys in half. What time do I start my lives? I have been going for just over 13 minutes so far. So that's when I start, depending on what state you're in, Megan. All right, so I'm going to pop one of my semicircles up here. See, look, you wouldn't even know that it was only a half a circle. And I'm going to pop the other one down here, and you probably won't see a whole lot of that one. I better turn it over so it's facing the right way. So I will end up with something, I mean, obviously I have not placed it nicely, but it will end up something like that. So keeping that white base has kept my card nice and light and fresh. So that's what's sort of going on at the moment. So let's get our sentiment done, and then we can start putting it all together. It doesn't take long. So now you could do a berry burst, or I had planned, see how it changes the look? I had actually planned to do, what's this color? pretty peacocks. Don't you hate that? But you could do that as well. So either one of them would be fine. I think I'm going to stick with my pretty peacock, and I'm going to white emboss it. Or you could do it on white and stamp with either the pretty peacock or the, like if you want to keep it lighter, you could do it on white as well and just stamp with either of the colors. So very minimal supplies for this one. I've just got a Versamark and embossing. Yep, 10 a.m. my time. Yep. Oh, you're in Queensland. That's right. So you're a half an hour behind us now instead of a half an hour in front of us. Yeah. It's this whole thing where some states go into daylight savings and other states don't, especially if you're on the East Coast. That would be very annoying. And what's that town where it's in both, like the town is basically on the border. Oh, I can't remember the town. And basically, if you cross the road, you're in New South Wales, and then on the other side of the road, you're in Queensland. So, and you have to keep remembering, your time zone changes. How frustrating would that be? That would be super annoying, especially if you worked on one part of the town and you lived on the other part of the town. Tweed Heads, is that the one? I knew that there was one because I had years ago I had a downline, and she was telling us. So I was like, wow. I know. Then there's probably quite a few places like that. It's just crazy. You'd think that, anyway, we don't want to talk about governments at the moment, do we? Bernadette says she thought her hours were goofed up with the time difference zones. Our time zones, we have a half an hour. I'm a half an hour behind the East Coast because I'm in the middle of the country. Western Australia, who's on obviously the west side, they are now, I think it's 2.5 hours behind us. Normally they're 2 hours behind, or it's crazy. Queensland and the Northern Territory don't do, and Western Australia don't do daylight savings at all. So Northern Territory, and it's a bit like the East Coast, Northern Territory and South Australia are in the same time zone, but Northern Territory don't do daylight saving either. That's weird. Less chatter, please. I think I'm moving pretty quick in my card making. I've only been card making for 18 minutes. I'm almost ready to be done. All right, so I'll trim this out. I like a nice tight sentiment. So I'm going to trim that nice and close, especially because it's a little bit on the, I mean, it's a small sentiment, but it will take up a fair bit of room on my card. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my blog address once more before we, because that's going to pop across there like that, before we get started on our sticking everything together. Just a reminder, if you want the written tutorial for this card that's going out, it'll have all the measurements, it'll have all the products listed so that you can get them and recreate them or pull out something from your stash that is similar. Head over to alisatilsner.com and sign up for, you'll see the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed on there. Excuse me. I also want to remind everyone that I have my St. Nicholas colouring in class as well. So that is available. I'll put a link to that as well. So if you're looking to do some extra special colouring for your Christmas cards for the ones who you treasure the most, you know, you want to make a handful of cards that are sort of stepped up and a little bit more special, then you can spend some time in your colouring and just enjoy it as well. And also we will have our offer, our joining offer is coming to an end very soon. So 35% more or 35% off, up to you. And that is available as well. So if you're thinking, well, maybe I'd like to join, I have a really long wish list, come and join us. It is super fun. We get to see products early. I've got some brand new products sitting beside me. Now I'm just going to layer these pieces so that I can figure out where that they are going to go. I'll pop you down. I'm probably going to have to use that Tombow glue for that, even though it may play friendly with me. All right, I'm going to pop you down and I'll put you down here. I never stick anything down until I know exactly where I'm going to go. So I'll start sticking my, my layering bits that I can do. I'll put them together just so that this process is a little bit easier. So they will go like that. Deborah's bought the class. She's still watching the videos. Have you picked up your blends to go with the videos though? Or are you just watching still? So there's about an hour and a half worth of videos that you can follow along with. So, and then I will pop. So this is why I need to do it step by step, because this needs to come out a little bit more and this one needs to come out. So you're only going to see a tiny little bit of those semicircles, because this panel here is going to take up a lot of room. And maybe I don't even want that one there. I may have to ditch one altogether because I've got a lot going on now. So I may have to pull that one out and maybe have to go something like that. Or where could I put that? Maybe I could put that there to have it balanced. Maybe I could do that. I'll bring it up. That may have to be it, because that big panel in the middle is really quite big and it's taking up a lot of room. And we want to be able to see all that designer series paper as well. We don't want to cover it up. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, so that will be my next step. I will adhere this panel down. And I'll bring that fairly close to the left-hand edge there. And then I'll make this one really wide as well. I might pop that one down first. All right, I had to sit my Tombow up this way because last night it was warm in my craft room, and every time I took the lid off, it wanted to spill out on me. And I was like, oh, that is not. No wonder we don't get along very well. It was just oozing everywhere as soon as I took the lid off. And today is going to be another warm day. Ugh. It's supposed to be nearly 30 today. And then tomorrow, so we're getting a little taste of summer. And then tomorrow we get back to winter. And it's going to be 14 on the weekend. Yuck, 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 yuck. All right, so I'll put that down. Wendy said, yep, only one is great under the flower to keep the two circles. Yep, I think so. Sometimes we just need to, what we think is going to work doesn't actually work. And we need to rearrange things a little bit. I'm actually going to bring this one in again, just so that I can see how far. I need to push you right out to the edge. And then I can pop you down. So I'm only going to see, I only want to have a tiny bit of that white there, because I will run into trouble. All right, see, now I've got even-ish, almost even-ish spacing on each side. I can still center that panel nicely. Now I'm going to pop this one, I think I'm going to tape it behind here rather than stick the circle on my card. I'm going to pop it behind here, and I'm going to just try and have about the same amount showing from there. And I might have to bring that down a little bit closer to the bottom corner. Something like that. And I've missed all that adhesive. I don't know whether you can see that. It's not even stuck. And then that will go like that. Perfect. Okay, and I think I will stick this one down flat. and whoops, center it would be handy. So we'll stick that one down flat, and then we'll put our flower up with dimensionals. So there's our layout base there, if you're trying to get it with a not so much darkness on it. All right. So our large dimensionals, and then we're done. How quick and easy is that? And that is a card from scratch as well. Oh, I did pre-cut the flower, but you know, that only took me about 2 minutes to do. So quick card. All right. Okie dokie. All right. So then, and I chose this paper here because I felt it went more with the leaves on this image here rather than because the smaller leaf pattern paper is actually a little on the greener side. So I thought those colors there tied in a little bit more. It's got the green, and it's got the pretty peacock, and it's also got the pool party in there as well. And then we'll pop that across the bottom. So I probably only need 1 or 2 dimensions. Oh, my belly is rumbling already. How crazy. You don't need to be fed. It's only morning. And it's not like I was overly active yesterday. All right, so we'll pop that along. So I've just got tape on the happy side and my dimensionals. Oh, I'm just gonna, oh, that's okay. I was gonna say, it's just hanging off the edge, just a tiny, tiny bit, but that's okay. It's only a tiny bit. It'll still fit in my envelope, no worries at all. Okay, rightio, let's do some bling. I've bought in some brushed brass butterflies, and I've got 4 left, 4 of my iridescent rhinestones left. So I'll pop this in the middle of my flower, just very, very subtle, and sort of takes on the color of what's underneath it as well, which is super pretty. And then I think we'll do a few butterflies. What do you reckon? I haven't given you guys much choice today. I haven't done what should I choose? What should I choose? I've sort of just created, haven't I? Okay, so we'll put a handful of butterflies. Oh, I'm having trouble. I haven't got a lot of space left now. I've used up nearly every little bit of space on my card. And will I be able to fit one? Whoops, now they're sticking to me. Can I fit one in there, do you think? One in there, one in there. And maybe I'll put, or should I put it up here? Oh, do you know what? I can have them going towards, I have issues with them facing different ways. I know that's a bit silly, but maybe I'll put you, I don't know, maybe I'll put you down there. Issues. There's not a lot of room for me to be putting bling on. And that's it. There's my card done. Look at that. Half an hour, and that was with me chatting a little bit at the beginning and chatting a little bit at the end. So less than half an hour. And that's a pretty full-on card. So, you know, you don't have to go that far. But if you feel like you want to put little bits of extra things, then just using scrap layers and even little bits of circles just to add a little bit of interest helps bring it all together as well. So, oh, Priscilla's just bought her 2nd pack. Way to go. I'm actually getting through mine pretty nicely. Normally I've got so much papers left over, but I'm on a mission to use it all, use big pieces and use it all up. So that is what I have got going on for you today. So there you go. Jazz your card up. Keep going. Once you get to where you think you want to be, have a little look at it and go, is there something else I can add to it? Is there a thin layer? It only has to be a thin layer. You don't have to do as thicker layers as I've done. You could just do thin layering, and you know, I could have even trimmed down my designer series paper a smidge. Like I could have gone 1/4 of an inch smaller and I would have had more room for these guys, but I like a really full card, and especially when you've got such beautiful papers and that you want to see them all. So there we go. Oh, Megan, you have to open the DSP. You have to use it all. Don't let this one sit because it's too pretty. You have to chop it up. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. It was a quick one today, so just don't forget, I'll just give one last reminder. Don't forget, head on over to my blog, alisatilsner.com. You'll see the subscribe button on the front page. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll actually get 2 free, you get 2 free tutorials straight away. One of them is one of those stack, cut and shuffle cards, I think they're called. I didn't know when I made it, I didn't know that there was such a name, and I just lined 5 pieces of paper up, cut them into different squares and strips, and then created 5 cards all together. This paper would actually be really pretty to recreate. I did mine in Christmas papers, but that one would be really pretty to recreate with this paper. So you'll get two tutorials for free. I've got my colouring class, so that I'll put in the description. And of course, come join us. Come join us. If you've been thinking about it, don't think any longer. Just come join us. It's so much fun. It's too much fun. There we go. Okay, I will say goodbye, and we will see you again next Thursday. I'm not sure what we're going to play with next week. I'm thinking maybe the Joy of Noel. It's Noel. It's Noel. And the Christmas classics. So I'm thinking about playing with them next week, because I have my membership cards to create using probably more of this one than this one. We'll see. And they will be going out. So if you're interested in the Creative Card Makers Club, you need to be signed up before the end of the month to get the cards. But I think we'll continue to look at those. It's gorgeous paper as well. Okay, am I going to go now? I think I've waffled enough. And as who said back here in my comments, Kathy on Facebook told me to chatter less. Okay, I am live. I like to talk. I will see you next week. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. And those who are coming to Paper Party, I will see you over the weekend. Okay, bye-bye.